How do you pronounce your first name?
So there's two different ways to say it. If you were saying it casually, you would say Leaki with a K.
Okay.
If like my father was speaking to me like in a proper way, it would be Leati with a T.
Okay. When you're around your relatives and you start to talk, do they say like you've lost your accent? Like you just said, your dad would say Leati and I would say Leaki. Do they say, man, you've really, your accent's gone, or your pronunciation's...
Oh, I've never had an accent.
No?
Yeah, so that's kind of the weird part of me is all my family's from the West Coast. So when my dad and uncle came from the island, they set up shop in California in the Bay. And then once he and his brother started wrestling, it was back in the territory days. So they would just kind of migrate from each region. And when he found the Panhandle and Alabama territory, he fell in love with Pensacola, Florida, which was it's just a small beach town. It's grown a bit over the years, but still nothing big, I think.
So did you expect to play football? Was that when you were growing up, was that what you thought your profession would be?
Well, it was kind of like maybe 3 or 4 different. So it was like wrestling from like the day I was born all the way to like 7. But yeah, it was like from 1 to 7 was just wrestling. We were coming up with different tag teams, triples, quads, everything, and then once I got into football, probably about 2 or 3 years into it, I was pretty all in. And then once I got into high school and it became a reality that I was going to play college football, that's what I knew I had to do. And it was mainly, I think, the wrestling side of our family motivated me even more to get away from it, to kind of build my own name, to start my own story. And it just did not work out that way. And whenever...
you played at Georgia Tech, right?
I did.
Can I ask you one question though before that? So having 3 sisters growing up, I could see you wanting to kind of get away and be around some guys. But as soon as you hit like high school, that seems like a really good thing to have 3 sisters because of just the whole flock of their friends being around.
Oh no, you're right in some regard, but so it was kind of strange. I went from being this tall to like 6'2", 6'3", and people were looking at me differently at that time, and my sister shut that down. She did not have that. But I will say, I learned how to be a man from a woman. My mom taught me damn near everything. And one thing about my mom was I wasn't, scared of her physically, but there was just something about disappointing her that was way worse than getting hit with getting spanked or getting hit with a switch or whatever it may be. Like, me making her disappointed was like, it made me ill. That physically would hurt my feelings if I made her disappointed. So that was just something that always really, stuck by me even to this day. It still pushes me.
So you go to Georgia Tech and you're playing ball there, and then you do play pro ball.
A hiccup, yeah.
Okay.
We'll say it, yeah.
Okay. And so what drives you to leave that? What drives you to drop that and then pursue a career in sports entertainment, aka pro wrestling, whichever they say these days? I don't know.
All the above, I think.
Above? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a master of all the above.
Okay.
So I signed with the Minnesota Vikings for my free agency rookie camp. I went up there for rookie camp, and that's where we did all our physicals, and that's where I got my initial blood work, and that's where I found out that, like, at the time I had like 80,000 white blood cells, no clue what was going on, and they sent me back home, and that's where we were first diagnosed with leukemia.
You were 22, correct?
Yes, for a 22-year-old with just right there, like, the carrots just almost in my hand, and all these years of work, all this like convincing that this is what I was supposed to do, this is what's supposed to be happening, it slipped right out. And on top of that, my wife was pregnant, so we had our daughter on the way, and everything's falling apart.
Do you get depressed? Are you down, or are you...
At the time?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes. But at the same time, I've always handled emotions and feelings like, I don't want to say compartmentalized, but I just was able to, for a lack of a better word, no-sell it, I guess, what we would say in our business.
Right.
But I guess what made me feel like I wasn't so alone is you heard more stories coming out of this, not being such an irregular thing, not being the only 22-year-old diagnosed with CML. So that kind of over the years definitely helped me and made me feel like, okay, there is, other people who are dealing with what I'm dealing with, and that means I can possibly share my story and help. But yeah, that was kind of, I guess, the big asterisk next to my football name. That was like, it just felt like a death sentence. It felt like, here's this pretty good football player. Like, he had a good career. He's a, good kid, good leader, good locker room guy, but something's going on with his blood. And then boom, you just put that asterisk next to him. Well, all right. Well, we got these other kids that are both really good, and let's give them a try. They don't have that asterisk. So from there, I just had to shake and bake. And, I wanted to continue to play. I went up to the CFL, and it was just
not into it.
No offense, CFL.
Yeah.
We love you, Canada. But football just was not the same. I was 320 pounds. They do a very spread out, a yard neutral zone. Pretty much I was like 40 pounds too heavy to play in that league. If I would have been my college self, I would have tore that place apart. I would have been all over quarterbacks all day long. But I was built to play the run at that point. I was getting ready for American football. And, we run the ball first.
Right.
Maybe not now because of Mahomes, but anyways, that's all. Let's not go down that
road. Do you miss playing?
I think now that I'm in a very secure place with my career, I can honestly say, yeah, I do miss the game. I miss the idea of beating that guy in front of me or these two guys in front of me consistently, like that, that competition, that pure competition of right before the play, like I'm sick and tired of this guy, but I'm going to beat you. Then we're going to take a break. Then I'm going to line back up and I'm going to beat your ass again. I miss that. I miss like that domination feel, like where you're just so in the zone.
Yeah.
The only thing I can compare to it is when you can vibe with the crowd. Like that is, and it's not really the same, but it's that same control to where everything's working for you.
Right.
There's the weird like comparison within, pure competition sport. And then there's also like a realm of that within entertainment and sports entertainment. I don't know. It's a weird crossover.
But you have 3 kids, right?
3 with 2 in the oven. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking to be Papa Bear of 5.
Wow. Okay.
Breaking news. We haven't really shared that.
Do you, if any of them wanted to play football, would you have a problem with it because of the high risk of injury?
It's probably best that they don't play too early. I played since I was 7. I remember moments that would not fly nowadays. I remember moments where, whoa, smack you on the butt, get back in there, let's do it again. Great job. And it was a great play, but it stunned me, and then they throw me back in. So I think there's different scenarios that where we can take care of our kids. This doesn't just go for my children, for all kids. As they get older and they become more coachable, you can really explain the different techniques of hitting and how to protect yourself and how to make those judgment calls of like, nah, coach, I'm not good. I need to pop out, like send in Sammy real quick because I need to go to the sideline. The culture was just different back in my day.
They'd call you a wimp if you did, they get back in, and it's like that's not.
Well, you don't want to play. You don't want to be a starter.
Right. Yeah.
Go over there where the Gatorade is. Go get a Gatorade stain on your jersey opposed to the grass. So it was just a different culture, but I think it's far more. It's just more intelligent, and we have to take care of it because, as we've seen, through these injuries, all these different accounts, we have to protect our children. I want to support my kids.
Right.
I want them to be active. I want them to have discipline. I want them to be able to focus on something. And I think the best way to do that is within competition, within sports. But I don't think contact is necessary at a young age. I think I've met many football players that, I just started playing in high school. And they're Division I athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Big E was one of our guys with the New Day.
Yep.
He didn't play until his, sophomore year maybe. Freshman year I might be a little off there, but I don't think he played Little League ball. He went D1, obviously a freak in the weight room and just an incredible athlete. But there's a lot of guys like that.
How has your training changed? It's clearly changed since college, I'm assuming. But how has it changed even since you were last diagnosed with leukemia, which was in 2018?
So I guess the biggest general change within my training is just the mindset of it. Training was always just a tool for athletics and to become a better athlete. It wasn't ever like an aesthetic thing. It wasn't like, man, I want to look good naked. It wasn't ever just like, man, I want to look good at the beach. It was all like, I want to move that dude out of my way and then destroy the dude with the ball. It was always like, you know what I mean? I want to be the most explosive guy. I want to be the best, strongest athlete, you know, the most capable athlete on the field. And obviously in football, you're covered up. So it just wasn't a thing. So I think definitely my training now is just a lot more intuitive, you know, opposed to just like I think we talked a little bit earlier, opposed to just moving the bar and, you know, hitting these numbers, feeling the movement of the bar, feeling everything that I'm doing. So it's really weird, but at like 34, I'm still like learning how to connect to my body. It's amazing, but even at this age and like the moment, it's like, oh crap, there it is. Like, oh, that is like, it took me 30 reps of warming up and finally enough blood's in there, but now I can contract that every single time. And the cool thing is you take your break and then you come back to it, and it's trying to get that same feeling. It's trying to achieve that same situation and create that same contraction. So for me, it's no longer just, we're gonna move weight, you know what I mean, and just be a man in there. Now it's more about just conditioning, exhausting, and just trying to connect to the muscle group as you know, mentally as possible.
Well, it's also like, you know, when you're playing football, that's what you want to do. You want to move weight so you can toss people out of the way. When you're performing in the ring, that's a lot of running around, a lot of like you know, are you training for that? In the 80s and maybe 90s, it was just about these just monsters, right? They were huge, and then you see they're still big dudes, but they're just conditioned in a different way, and they train differently to where they can still move. So I think it elevates the product that way.
I think so, and you know, it's a different product.
Right.
We're not these outlandish characters, and I love and respect every era of wrestling. We're just in a more of a reality-based, competitive-based product nowadays. But you know, we don't have it to where everybody has a mascot, a manager, like an animal theme of some sort. You know, so it's about putting all eyes on that championship, all eyes on who's going to be the winner, who can get to that top of the mountain, who can be that guy. But I think it's very important that you're able to keep up with the times. And I still think, you know, it's awesome to look good, but it has to translate within your movement, your action, your storytelling. And yeah, I mean, we want to have the biggest guys possible, but you got to be able to move. You know, you want to be athletic. You got to be able to sell. You got to, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to do to be able to create that atmosphere to make them explode.
Well, to become a superstar, you need all of it. You can't just, if you're good on the mic but you can't work, then you're not going to entertain. So we did a really deep dive on this, and we had our best researchers on it, and we found some of the personas that you turned down, and I want to see what you have to say and like why. Roman drains. I don't. This is.
I see where you're going here. I was like, you did some new. Yeah, all right.
I get it. It's not the most flattering.
Is that a mustache?
Yeah, that's.
Now we're talking. So yeah.
It's like not the most flattering, and it also looks like your wrist is broken a little bit. But I get why you turned this down. It's a retro thing. It's just you're beyond it. So plus, it also is not
high water pants, dude. Nipple covers. Yeah. What is this?
I get it. Well, there's another one. There's two more actually that we found, and one of them I understand why you may not want to be Roman mansplains, because the beard is difficult to, the glasses I think you'd look good with, the haircut maybe, but who wants to wade into that? You'd have to, you have to get all snotty.
Look at my hair coming out of the, so we still have my long hair in it, and then we have this going on, but then that's Chewbacca's beard, I think.
It is.
But yeah, it's almost like, what's the Pirates of the Caribbean where he has the tentacles coming out of his beard?
I don't know, but
Davy Jones, I think it is.
But you see how high our budget is with our huge props right here. So, and then the last one, and this is one I think was probably the most difficult for you. Purple Rains would be the one that you just would. How could you turn this down? I mean, is it too retro? Is it too? I don't know, but this is. I mean.
So this is the one that's probably gonna strike up on the internet. This is the one here. Yeah.
Do you sing well? Because it's like that would have been tough to not pull off. Because I don't know. I don't have much of a voice.
I hit that purple rain. Purple rain.
I thought that was a track.
Little deep. So it was a workout day.
But no, that was. But that does actually lead me to a serious question about your persona. Do you have a lot of say about it in terms of like how it evolved. Did you have those battles, and how do you deal with that? Do you sometimes just have to kind of take it and just run with what's given, or do you keep pushing?
It's a weekly thing. It really is. We have writers. Their job is to write us a script, but obviously if it's something that just doesn't feel right, as the performer who's in front of the red light, you have to adjust it. You have to make it work for you. But I think every situation's differently. As a young performer who is trying to build that equity with Vince and all the above, everybody that's kind of in that gorilla position watching and critiquing everything you're doing, I think you have to earn the keys to the car. So unless you just know, I'm going to go out there and just murder it. Can't nobody tell me anything different, which is a huge gamble because it is live television. But if you got it, I say go for it. Do your thing. But my approach was to earn it every single week, consistently show them that I know what I'm doing. I can handle anything you throw at me. But I don't suggest that you just come in and do your own thing on your own from the get-go, because in a weird light, this is the biggest team process I've ever been a part of. And like I said, this isn't one of those deals like football where we're competing and the man's next to me on the same side. I've never been in a business where someone lays down for me like, dude, you're winning tonight, brother.
Right.
And I'm gonna make you, you know what I mean? Like that's a different type of relationship. That's a different type of respect. And that's just a different type of, work relationship.
Now, WrestleMania 36 is in Tampa on April 5th. Do you remember your first WrestleMania, and do you still, do you get nervous before all events, and specifically that one because it is the biggest show of the year for WWE?
Yeah, our first one was in New York. I believe it was 29. Oddly enough, though, the most nervous I think I've ever been was the 6-man we did. Was it the next year? We did New Orleans. We had a 6-man in New Orleans against the New Age Outlaws and Kane. I don't know how that. Yeah. I'd have to go back and watch the film how they teamed up, but yeah, that was like a 5-6 minute match. I mean, the fastest match of all time.
Is that why you were nervous?
I was so nervous for that. I don't even know why. I have no clue why I was so nervous. I literally just had to blow a comeback. Just get in there and clothesline some, like 3 different variations of clothesline, and then just get back to my 2 moves. But I was so nervous up in the concourse, wetting up. We literally had a longer entrance than the match, and I was terrified. I have no clue why. Yeah. Then I think the following year I was in the main event against Brock.
You're fine.
Chilling, smooth, nothing, no. I think the thing with that was I knew it was just going to be real physical, and I was like, I got physical.
That's what you've been doing. Yeah,
we can bang. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If he wants a hit, we'll hit. We'll go in there and smash. I don't care.
And so after you guys go out there and beat the shit out of each other, and you both know you gave it everything you had, and the match is awesome. Is it awesome work? Are you like nice work, or is there just a little bit of animosity? You tagged me a little hard on that one, bro. Or
I think it's all situational.
Right.
When you're with Brock, it's always a little different because it's Brock. Yeah. But when you're in a main event scenario, it's all love. Hit me. You know what I mean?
Do you recall any situation where somebody was just, you're going in there and you're either, or maybe you were the person that did it, but it was just accidental, but a preventable accident?
Yeah. Not on this level. I think, especially everybody that I work with, everybody's so elite, you know what I mean? Even down to just the timing. There's one point in FCW, I was working with another wrestler. He was a veteran guy, and he had been around, and he was fine, but the timing of it, it was just something where I was turning around and he was just going to hit me with a clothesline. Very simple. He rolled me up and I kicked out, and I just working up, and I'm going to hit him, but he gets me. And for whatever reason, the timing just was not on point, and my toe was in. And when I went down, I popped my meniscus, because my toe was tucked into the canvas, and it was just one of those little things. So it can be as minute as that, and you get hurt. It's always the simple things, but I think on this level, for the most part, everybody's just so good that we don't usually have to worry about it. Things happen, and it's not always perfect, but I've been very lucky to where no one's really got me. I think maybe the worst is sometimes if someone's getting you from behind,
right,
and if you're just not ready or tight, you know what I mean? when you get hit in the back of the neck, it's not, I mean, no matter what, it's not that safe. So.
And I'm saying, yeah, like I know. I have no idea what it's like.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, totally. But it's like, I
on point.
don't know what it's like, but I can assume it doesn't feel any better as time goes on. So.
No, it doesn't. But that's why this is so important.
Right.
Like, that's why the weight room, the maintenance, I mean, just being able to get into a gym, warming your body up, because we've all done it before. How many times have you tried to just kind of get into the workout and then boom, stiffen up, like, oh God, my back, oh, where did that not come from?
But is that tough for you when you're on the road going to these gyms, because people know WWE is in town, and it seems like it might be a hassle. I know that they're fans and they support you and everybody else that's on the roster, but man, that must be tough when all you want to do is get that workout in and get it going, and somebody, hundreds of people are showing up.
It's the best problem in the world,
right?
But even though it's a good one, it can be a problem. I think the hardest part with the gym, especially, is it's great, the excitement to see us. That's what we signed up for. That's what we're looking to do, is to create that buzz, but it's also work. So that's the only thing that's kind of tough and can be annoying, is if you see us in there and we're mid-set, just let it be.
Yeah.
Like, let it ride, and most likely we're going to get you right at, as soon as we're done and we're walking out, let's do it. But like, if I'm in it, if you just let me, because I got to focus. Like, if I don't, I get distracted, I start talking, and then
just falls apart.
It's all, it's done, man. When I go in, I need an hour and a half to just really set my mind to what I'm trying to do, get it done, and then I'm all yours after that. And I completely get it. If I can, I'll try to knock it out for you real quick. If not, it's only because I'm just so in it and I just can't.
I know, but you're also not perfect. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the other thing. It's like, oh, well, he was a dick. Well, it's like, you may have caught him at the wrong time, or maybe you were rude. So it's
that as well, and sometimes you have to remind people too. I'm just like you.
Right.
I'm a human. I know it.
Yeah, you're just twice as big.
I just have I'm having a bad day today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I'm just trying to fix it in my brain, and I'm not there yet.
One thing I want to talk about is your affiliation with LLS, the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. How'd you get involved with this? It seems really cool. It doesn't seem like a society people want to get into, but I think once you're in there, to have that support and to have, especially somebody championing it like yourself, it must mean a ton to the kids in there, but in raising awareness to it. And can you just explain a little bit about what it is that that does and how you got involved?
So when I was going, when I took my leave of absence, and I was going through my recovery, there were a bunch of little kids from the Dallas Children's Hospital, and then also from Pittsburgh as well, that I had met just before I had left, and we had just started working with them, and it was pretty much, I forget the exact name for it, but it was a cool little thing where we're allowing them to become superstars. We're working with, they would create their superstar, their persona, cool. And then we would set up a stage in the hospital lobby, and they would have entrances, and they would just do their thing. They'd have music. It was really cool. Really, and it would give them a little bit of time to distract themselves, create that little bit of escapism, so they're not worried about, their next chemo, right. Whatever therapy they're going through. And so we started to really look at, like, who would be a good person, what would be a good foundation, a good organization to work with. And there were just so many good ones, but it was just LLS that really stood out, and just diving in and researching them and just how much money they've actually raised. And that was the cool thing, is like, they've literally raised billions, like 1.3. My numbers are a little bit off, but like, just so much money and put towards research. But nobody knows. Nobody knew. They didn't have, commercials pushing them. So it was still kind of the secret. And what better way than WWE, like 8 hours of content every week. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect situation with my story going on with me, to be able to, partner up with LLS to be able to raise that awareness and put, like, a face that can help some people, that a face that's going through some stuff, and provide a little bit of hope and connect these dots and connect these stories. I just thought this was a perfect situation. LLS has just been incredible to work with. It was very flattering to be able to team up and work with the Children's Initiative, because that's a huge thing right now is, grown-ups like myself, we have, I think, over 40 different medications to choose from now. I mean, there's a lot of different breakthroughs going into blood cancers, but I think there's only one or two for children because the disease reacts and mutates differently within a child's blood, and then with the medication and everything, and not only just helping them within now, helping them thrive in their future, giving them a medication that's not going to, it makes them well, but it also breaks them down. So we have to put a lot of research into creating these new medications to kind of benefit and be, specialized towards children and our youth, because otherwise, I mean, it's important that we save as many lives as possible, but if we're not saving our future, what are we focusing on here,
Yeah, and I know WWE has a history of working with charitable organizations. I know they do a lot with Make-A-Wish, and it's something that doesn't get mentioned enough, and I think it does say a lot about just the talent that really does want to go out and make a difference. It's one thing to entertain people and have them cheer for you or boo for you or whatever it is that you want, but to really make that impact it's just really cool.
WWE is so big. The recognition's just, it's there. We're on TV every single week, and if you do it right and you stay consistent, you're on TV every single week. That's all I need. I mean, that in its own right is such a blessing. And I mean, to be healthy, to be able to do what I love, to be active, to be able to make an impact like through my athleticism and stuff like that, and people to like dive into the creation of the story is great. But to be able to really connect and help people, that is far more fulfilling. To help someone that's struggling with like a real factor in their life, I think it's important that, when you receive that type of support and that type of love, you got to pay it forward.
Yeah. Quick left turn, because I don't want to keep you too long. I got to talk about acting. You were in Hobbs and Shaw. Is that something you want to continue to do? And if so, like, do you have the perfect role in mind, like that you would want?
It was definitely a great experience, an awesome learning experience. It was nice I didn't fall down either. Nobody bumped me, picked me up and threw me down. No body slams or nothing like that. So that was really impressive. And then also just to be able to see like everybody come together and create this shot. It was very similar to what we do in a different way, but to see that teamwork, like I talked about earlier, like everyone coming together to make it perfect. Like Dwayne, he was saying it, everyone on this set, everyone around is here to make you look better, here to make the shot perfect, here to make the biggest star possible, to tell the best story and create the best product possible. So there's something very, very addicting to that situation.
Yeah, I feel like it would be tough because you're a big dude, and it's like you don't want to get pigeonholed as being like the menacing bouncer. You know what I mean? So do you right out of the gate take a role that's the opposite? Are you like the babysitter at
So you see that a lot. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is more into the strategy and the business of it. And I guess let's just use Dwayne as an example. He did that, right? Like when he first, he did that, he showed his range and the Tooth Fairy, all these different, situations, all these different characters. But Badass worked. Yeah. He came, I mean, as soon as he was like, let's get rid of the hair, let's, and let's get even more jacked. He really just found that groove. And I do think there's an art to putting yourself out there and trying stuff, but then there's also something very smart about finding that box for yourself and that niche, and he did that. And I think, it just all depends. It depends if you want to be a superstar that draws, a movie star that draws, or you want to be an actor. I don't mind both, to be honest,